Well, today it's our special privilege to host a group from Clover Park. These are students that are in the speech and communications program, and I'm going to introduce Daniel Hughes, who is going to be the master of ceremonies. Daniel teaches math, and I know there's some other people here besides the speakers. So if you wouldn't mind just explaining who they are, Dan, as you introduce them. He'll introduce each student and their topic. So enjoy.
You guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Yeah. All right, hi. My name is Daniel Hughes. I'm a math instructor at Clover Park Technical College. I work with Phil Venditti, Dr. Phil. He has the public speaking class there. I think is one of the best in the state. It's rigorous, it's exceptional, and he does a wonderful job with the students there. So I'm happy to present 4 students that are going to present to you today that are motivated, talented, engaging, and wonderful. I've taught most of these students in my math class. I have a few now in my math classes that are going to be there on Monday. Anyway, so a few of the people that have come, Doreen, she's in support of the public speaking student body here, which is great. That's something that they need to have. They're learning that they can learn from one another. Kind of like you guys are here for each other, right? You're here to support each other. That's absolutely essential, critical to success. Over here we have Tish Jones, right? No, Tish, what's your last name? Miller. She's in my class. I can't believe I got her last name. No, but she's a wonderful student, one of my best students in one of my iBest programs. Miss Steptoe Braxton is also in my iBest program, but they are also here to support the students of Clover Park Technical College. I was in the military for 8 years. I got out. I went to University of Washington to get a degree in communications, which worked out great, and then I ended up teaching math, which was kind of weird. I was an engineer before that, so it kind of worked out well. But the student body that we have on Clover Park Technical College is what this country needs to get back on its feet. Absolutely. And these people sitting right here, these individuals, are some of our best and our brightest. And so the first person that I want to introduce today is Amanda Davenport. She is studying human services and chemical dependency right now. She's going to give you a presentation on family dynamics.
Hello? Okay. I would like to share a quote by Letty Cotton Pogrebin. It says, "If family were a fruit, it'd be an orange, a circle of sections held together but separable, each segment distinct." Right now, he is passing out a paper to each of your tables. I would like each table to choose one person, and that person is going to get your family size, just your siblings, and average it. When that person is done, go ahead and raise your hand. If you could do that now. While you guys are doing this, I'd just like to share a quote by Chief Provide a Dozen. It says, "A family is a support system." And I think this is absolutely true.
Brothers and sisters, including you. You're going to raise the average.
All right, what's your average? Oh.
We don't know how to do this.
Oh.
You want siblings? You want the total?
Just siblings. So count how many siblings you have in your family. And write those down and average it.
How many?
have it. What is yours?
1.57.
Okay. Whole numbers is okay. What is yours? 3.
3.75.
3.75.
3.5.
3.5.
4.5.
4.5 in the back. Okay. This one?
Got 4.
4. So I'd say the winner is the back table right here. Now out of that table, who of this table has sibling size, family size, 2 or more? 3 or more? Just in this back table. 4 or more? 5, 6, 7. How many siblings do you have in your family? There's 7. Okay, and what is your name? Mary Lou. You are the winner. I actually have a prize for you. Go ahead and give her a hand. I am actually not from an average family size. I am from a family of 10. I have 7 older brothers and 2 older sisters. I'm the youngest. And growing up in a big family, there's definitely a good and a bad side to it. First, I'd like to share the bad side. One thing that's bad is, in a big family, there's less. There is less money, so a lot of times we ended up with second-hand toys, second-hand clothes, cheap clothes. Also, there's less time with parents. I can't tell how many times I've looked at old family videos and mom's videotaping one kid and you see that one kid in the background, Mom, Mom, look Mom, watch me, Mom, all the time. So it can definitely be a competition for the parents' attention. Also, another big thing is chores. Hillary Pereira said many hands make light work. Well, having so many kids, there was definitely a lot of work because you had to have a big house, you needed to have a big yard. So my mom was the queen of chores. Is there anybody here by the raise of hands, when you got in trouble, did you instead of getting grounded, your mom gave you a chore list? Okay, I thought it was just me. There's a couple. So it's not just my family. But every time we got in trouble, we would come home from school the next day and you would see it. That piece of paper sitting on the counter. You can't make out anything, just your name right on top. And you knew for the next 3 hours you were busy. So that's how she did it. I remember one time, 2 of my brothers got in trouble for throwing a party. The next day, we came home from school and they each had their own separate papers, taped together, scroll hanging off the counter of lists. So many hands make light work, but we had a lot of work. There's also good things about being from a big family, and I think one of them is support. Having so many siblings, you have a lot of support around you. When one sibling doesn't want to play, there's always another you can go ask. So there's always somebody there. Also, for support, you can't always talk to your parents. You always need a friend. A lot of times when you have a lot of siblings, those siblings end up being your friends. That's how it was for me. So definitely parents you couldn't talk to, there was always somebody there to talk to. You were never alone. Another big thing was you learned from your siblings. You learned how to share. You learned fairness. And Nancy Milford said, the great advantage of living in a large family is that early lesson of life's essential unfairness. You also live to forgive and forget. Because if you didn't, you'd be playing alone for a long time. Also, growing up in a big family, you develop faster. Children do develop faster because they're learning from their older siblings. And last about learning, you learn what to do and what not to do. And I was the youngest, so I had the privilege of learning those things. One thing I thought I learned to do was I thought I could sneak out. I saw my older brothers and sisters doing it all the time. So about 15, I thought I'd try it. It took about 4 hours of convincing myself I was going to do this. I made it down my, down our road to the mailbox, and I took 2 steps away from our mailbox, and the first car that drove by was a cop. And he took me right home. That was the only time I ever tried to sneak out. Also, I learned what not to do. I'm proud to say that the youngest of my family, I'm the only person in my family who's never been to jail. Never been in trouble. I saw what they did, and I learned not to do that. Looking back at my childhood, there were not very many dull moments. There's so many stories that come with having that many people growing up together. And growing up in a big family, there's the good and the bad, but I think the good outweighs the bad. Even though we grew up with less, we learned to be so much more grateful for what we have now. And I believe this is what has molded me into the woman I am today. Thank you.
All right, if I haven't already, I'd like to thank the Lakewood Rotary Club for hosting this for us and inviting us out here. Please give yourselves a round of applause. You said before that you interact with the community at large and the international community, and this is one of the things that helps these individuals and students understand this sort of thing, and I think this is absolutely wonderful. So, the next person I would like to introduce to you is Rico Sayasak. He is currently studying sustainable building science. I have a hard time spitting that out. Sustainable building sciences, and he's going to speak today on his personal journey.
Hello, my name is Rico Sayasak, and this is my personal journey. I'm here today to talk to you about where I'm at, where I've been, and where I'm going. I was terrified when I first came to Lakewood Park Technical College. This is why. Before I was incarcerated at United States Penitentiary in Atlanta, Georgia, my highest level of education was the 7th grade. I got kicked out of school when I was 12 years old, and my parents told me to go back to school or get a job. So I decided to get a job. My job wasn't cutting it, so I started selling drugs. I paid for this poor decision with 5 years of my life. While incarcerated, I did a lot of thinking. I realized that this was not the way I wanted to spend the rest of my life. I had to make some changes. I promised myself I would earn my GED and further my education upon my release, which I've done. 3 things helped me turn my dreams into reality. Number 1, my family support. Number 2, friendship. And number 3, motivation. I know that I dragged my parents through hell and back. They have been by my side the whole time, never once turned their back on me. I can never pay them for this. I don't want to be a burden anymore. I just want to make them proud to have me as a son from here on out. I want to show them that they did in fact raise me well, and even though I chose a more difficult path, it took me to the right destination. Their support, both financially and emotionally, has will always be immeasurable and cherished. The support my friends have given me throughout my life is also irreplaceable. My son's mother was there for me through most of my incarceration. She used to bring my son and my parents to visit me every weekend. This act of kindness is one of the only things that kept me going during this period of my life. Even though she's not here today, I still like to thank Rachel for her support. I'm sure most of you have thought of quitting school at one time or another. When this happened at Lakewood Park, I think of how much my classmates help and care about me. Whenever I have a problem with schoolwork, I ask one of my peers. I found value asking for help when I needed it. As they say, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. I'd like to thank my classmates that join me here today. Without them, the struggle would be more difficult than it is already. Because of the support of my family, friends, and peers, I'm motivated enough to accomplish my goals and attain my dreams. The excitement of getting college education, meet new people, and make friends that have a positive outlook on life are my motivation to continue and succeed in this journey. Spending quality time with my family and friends motivate me to stay focused and busy so I stay out of trouble. Without this network or support, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I want to be a good role model for my son Armani, who looks up to me. I want to show him that I can do things the right way. I know this is not going to be easy, but I can do it. I've asked myself, will I spend the rest of my life pursuing a career in sustainable building science? No. I'm preparing for a multitude of careers I will adapt to and overcome life's obstacles and opportunities. This is a path to success. According to Emerson's self-reliance, consistency is a hobgoblin of all mankind. I say this to you because anyone unwilling to grow change for the better will die with regrets. That's it.
Thank you, Rico. Give him a round of applause again. That was very good. And Miss Amanda, great speech. So the next person I'd like to introduce is Megan McHugh. She is studying dental hygiene right now at Clover Park Technical College, and she is going to speak to you about the importance of learning public speaking at an early age.
Usually standing behind a podium, you see iconic public figures, politicians, actors, professional athletes. Well, I'm just a student public speaker, and in comparison to these iconic public figures, I haven't had much experience with public speaking. In fact, Mr. Venditti's class has been my only opportunity to study and acquire public speaking skills. And frankly, I'm not content with this fact. I'm not happy that throughout all of my schooling, this has been my only opportunity. Today I'm going to speak to you about my personal struggles with public speaking and why public speaking should be taught in the school curriculum. My difficulties with public speaking started at a young age. I can remember in kindergarten doing show and tell, bringing a stuffed animal, talking about it, and being so uncomfortable in front of my peers. And I can just remember blushing so bad, and I can remember people making fun of me. And then I get to middle school, and my teacher calls on me to read from a literature book. And the first thing I think of is, man, I hope I don't mispronounce a word, or I hope I read fast enough. Then I get to high school, senior project. In order to graduate and get my diploma, we have to speak for 10 minutes about our future goals and careers. Now, how are we supposed to do this without having any experience with public speaking? They expect so much of us, or from us, yet we have no background. Now, I passed my senior project, but it would have been a heck of a lot easier if I had that background. Some people are born with the confidence to be up here. Others, they have to work at it, like me. In my class, there's a gentleman who comes to class and finds out he's doing a speech that day, and he hasn't even prepared for it. But he gets up here and he delivers something so amazing, and it's so fun to listen to him. And then we have a lady in my class who gets up here and for a couple of her speeches starts out by saying, "I'm good at this. This is easy for me." I'm envious of these people's competence. I wish I had that. It's something, like I said, I have to work at. So let me get this straight. We go to high school and then they expect us, in order to graduate, speak for 10 minutes without having acquired any sort of background, and then they shoo us off into the world and expect us to excel. Well, from my understanding, the number one way to succeed in life is through having communication and public speaking skills. In order to be successful and survive in society, you need these skills. Which brings me to my next point. Public speaking should be taught in the school curriculum. Like I said, in order to survive and be successful, you need these skills. Job interviews, working in a job, going to, talking to your neighbor, or even going to a restaurant and ordering something. You need these skills to communicate. And isn't the reason why we go to school to learn life skills? Well, I'm pretty sure one of the biggest life skills you need is to communicate and public speak. And it's easier to learn when you're a child to pick up things. That's why we learn foreign languages at a young age. Walters from the Yakima Herald states, children who are exposed to speaking situations early will develop confidence sooner and faster than compared to an adult learning public speaking skills. So if public speaking isn't taught in the schools, then should parents teach it? Well, I know the primary goals of my parents were to put food on the table and clothes on my back, and to give me love and support. So they didn't really have time, or they didn't really see my struggles in school. I come home with a report card that says A's and B's, so they expect that I'm doing well. But they didn't see how much I struggled in getting up in front of the class and speaking. So by my arguments, I'm sure you can tell how important I think public speaking is. I have told you about my personal struggles with public speaking and how I ultimately wish that I had some background and experience before even taking this class. I am tired of using a lectern and a podium to stand behind because I'm scared. It's unfortunate that children and adults have to go through this feeling standing up here, as well as going through life being scared to talking to people and talking in front of groups. I'm not sure what it's going to take for schools to get this in their curriculums, but something better happen, because I don't want anyone else to feel the way I do when I'm up here. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Very true. Very good speech. All right, the next individual I'd like to invite up here, me and Gerardo go back just a little ways. But Gerardo Grosjean, he is, I like to say it very colorfully like that. Anyway, he is studying histology. He's currently a lab technologist, and he's going to be presenting on stereotypes.
That last speaker, my friend Megan, little blonde girl, real good friend. Don't know how smart she is after all. She's a blonde and she's a girl. We have African Americans. I told you what's coming. But most of them probably are in gangs, deal drugs, do drugs, or maybe all of the above. We got people with turbans, but then again, they're probably just driving cabs or preparing for the next terrorist attack. We have the Asians, which are the people that I wanted to be helping me with my math. Then again, I'm probably going to have to drive them everywhere because we know Asian people don't drive very well. We have Caucasians. Then again, they basically run the United States. That gives them a lot of power. Can't trust them. We have the Latinos. And well, I see only one with the camera over there, and I keep my distance because probably he's got a knife in his pocket. Myself, I'm half Caucasian, half Hispanic, so you can kind of trust me. And you cannot worry too much because I'm only half Latino, so I'm only allowed to have smaller knives. Well, all these are forms of stereotype. A stereotype is a belief about another culture, race, or individual that has no logic or evidence to support it. Today, I'm going to speak about why do we stereotype, how stereotyping affects our society, and the steps that we can take to eradicate stereotyping from our society. First of all, why do we stereotype? Well, the number one winner is ignorance. When we don't know a person, when we don't know, when we're facing the unknown, we tend to generalize. And we generalize with those things that have been taught to us or handed down from either friends, family, or the media. Which brings us to social teachings. The media, especially TV, has been portraying with a lot of bias every kind of stereotype there is. They have been doing this for decades. Now, you have to realize that the job of television is not to teach. It can be a great teaching tool, but the thing is that they're a business and they're there to make money. Sadly, still people think that, well, if it is on TV, it must be true. Social teachings. We got friends, we got family, they go overseas, and they come back with this great tan, and all of a sudden, they are experts in the social aspects of whatever culture they went to. How stereotyping impacts our society? Well, stereotype leads to distrust and segregation. Also lowers performance. It leads to distrust because we cannot trust people to go beyond our already perceived perception of who or what they are, which leads to segregation. We are living in the greatest melting pot in the world, and still in every city you can see that there is the neighborhood that is predominantly Caucasian, predominantly Asian, Hispanic, you name it, because we are more comfortable with those people that think and act like us. If we get to learn about those people, we will not be having to stereotype them. Lowers performance. I have to read this one because it comes from the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology. Associate Professor of Psychology, Michael Inslee, the one that led the study on stereotyping, wrote, past studies have shown that people perform poorly in situations where they feel they are being stereotyped. No great surprise there. What steps can we take to eradicate stereotyping? Well, there is a fine distinction between innate behavior and conditioned behavior. Innate behavior is the behavior that we're born with, those things that are natural to us. Conditioned behavior is the stuff that we learn either from friends, schools, media, TV, things as sexism, ethnocentrism, and of course, stereotyping. Education. Well, education is usually the key to everything. We have learned in the last few decades that women can do any job that we can just as well. We're recently starting to learn that men can be as good caretakers of children as women can. Hopefully we will not have to fight every single stereotype one by one, and we will be able to learn that stereotyping is not only counterproductive to yourself as a person, but to everybody as a society. I would like, since I'm the last speaker, I would like to thank the Rotary Club of Lakewood for giving us all a chance to speak to you. And hopefully I will have driven through already my original 3 points as to why do we stereotype, how stereotyping affects our society, and the steps that we can take to eliminate it from our society. Lastly, I would like to close because stereotyping makes as much sense as slavery I would like to close with the immortal words of Leo Rosten, a famous Polish Anglophile, who says, trust, excuse me, truth is stranger than fiction. Fiction has to make sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerard. That was absolutely wonderful. There's one person I didn't point out over here, Edison Ustianano. He was one of my math students back in the day with Megan. Thank you, Edison. Thank you very much for hosting us and inviting us. I really appreciate it.
I want to thank everybody. Those were remarkable. That getting up and talking in front of a crowd, especially a group of people that you don't know, that's not easy. It's certainly a lot easier for me because I know most everybody in here. But again, thank you. That's bravo. Good job. I'm going to ask. Would you?